Hi everyone, it's Helen here, and I just want to run through something that crops up a lot in classes and something that we have to address every time. And it is the position of the head in side lying work. So the problem with side lying is that sometimes we forget about the postural issues, and that's very often down to what's happening in the shoulder. So for example, if I'm in good posture and I'm upright, my chest is open, my upper back is open, my shoulders are down, my chin is slightly retracted, my crown of the head is lifted. I have a natural curve in the back of my neck. I'm not pushing my head forward. I've just got my head balanced above my shoulders and above my pelvis. And that means I have smooth ease of movement around my neck. Okay, so that's easy enough. But when we come to lie down, then sometimes we forget about the position of that. We talk about the shoulders being stacked, we talk about the hips being stacked, but sometimes people forget what happens with their head. And if you are restricted for whatever reason, it might be that you're biomechanically made like that, or maybe you have some sort of issue in your shoulder, and you cannot get your arm right up along the side of the ear, then if you're going to use your arm for support, you're going to have to press your head forward. So very often what happens is people don't have a full range of movement and they end up pushing their head forward, and so they end up in this position, which clearly is not what we're looking for. So we have to address that by perhaps using some props. So I have here a wee cushion and a yoga block. Okay, you could use, if you've got a yoga block, that's great. You could use a rolled towel, you could use cushions or a pillow, anything like that, doesn't really matter. And these are the options that I generally encourage people to use. So if you have the range of movement to do it, okay, with the arm outstretched, to let the head rest down, then that's great. After all, your arm is very portable, it's going to go where you go. So you don't need to worry about anything else. And it allows you to have your shoulders stacked, your hips are stacked, chin is still drawn in, we've got natural curve of the neck, we're reaching out through the crown of the head. So all of the things we would talk about if we were in a standing or a seated or a lying supine position, anything like that. But if you're not made to do that, then there's a couple of things you can do. So what I tend to do very often, because it's very easy, and again, my arm's always with me, is I fold my arm in half and I let my head now rest onto my lower arm, okay? It gives me slightly more surface area to balance into, but nothing massively. And the reason I do that, A, it's portable, but also because when I extend my arm out and put my head down, look at what's happened to my neck now. I have a length here that actually does not suit me. It suits some people, it doesn't suit me. So I have a little disc issue in my neck, and this causes me compression into my neck. It causes a burning sensation. It really doesn't work for me. And that's why this slightly higher lift works better for me. I could, of course, use a block to put my head on and put my arm out of the way. But what I need to be wary of there is that sometimes it causes people just to roll back. So I'm slightly more lifted through my chest to the ceiling. And I do still want to be directly shoulder over shoulder. Okay, but it does mean that my head is supported by something else. I don't need to worry about any potential restrictions in my shoulder. Or I could take my little cushion, my rolled towel, my pillow, whatever it is, and this would work very well for me. So I can have my arm outstretched because I'm able to do that in my range of movement. And so now with the pillow bridging the gap, I have now a neutral length at the side of my neck. The pillow's nice and squashy, so my head can just rest down. I can keep that stacking of the shoulders. I'm not concerned about rolling forward or back. I'm right on the side of my body, just where I need to be, and then I can do my work from there. So when you come to do side lying work, notice what restrictions in the shoulder might do that would then have a negative impact on the spinal correct position. Hope that's been helpful. Let me know what you think. Take care.